Okay, good afternoon. Hope everyone is well. So market is open in about 30 seconds. So we've had not a huge amount of volume today, but most of it's been going up really. So I've got this channel today. So we'll see how we get on anyway. So I took a small trade earlier on one of my PA accounts. That one now is qualified for a payout. I just need to do 2 micros for the next 2 days, and that will that one account is just over $5,000 profit in there now, so I can take a $2,000. I need one more trade on another PA today of $200, and that will get me another $2,000 as well. So fingers crossed. As well as the evaluations I'm trading as well. So let's call you MC. How you doing, buddy? So NQ on the left, ES on the right, 1500 tick chart on the left, 2000 tick chart of the ES on the right. So we've got a channel up here, fits quite nice on the ES. Not sure what's going on the NQ. Maybe there's an overshoot, so maybe we get a second leg down here. Excuse me. Hard to say at the moment, but there's always the possibility that there is something. It just maybe 2 legs like that. And then down. Is this going to come down? I'd have thought so, but it depends what kind of channel we got. So let me just have a look what everybody else has got. So yeah, there looks like a second leg down. So yeah, a couple of people I can see have got that channel. Obviously the NQ, different story. Dan's looking at that same thing as well. Just say my hellos. Jay, how you doing, buddy? How you doing? So maybe a small overshoot there. It's hard to say. Depending on how you're looking at the NQ, maybe there's an overshoot there. Now, obviously, that can do a bunch of things, and that's one of them. Pull back into the channel, push up, make a new high. Usually, that's followed by a reversal. That's on the NQ. We look like we're still here. There may be a small overshoot, but it's negligible, I think. Yeah, the slightest. I mean, if that bar might be slightly different on you, it might be slightly fuller, which means I could tweak that up a little bit. So it's negligible, that is. So I can see we got 185 contracts sat there for sale. So my guess is it'll hit that. So whether that, in fact there's 200 odd now. Whether that'll push it down, my guess is. In fact, there's a chunk more above there. So my guess is it'll push through there. So it's hit that now. But there is a chunk more around the 804, just below. There's 440 contracts for sale here. So I think it'll push up. It may pull back slightly, but my guess is going to push up. Richard, how you doing, mate? So I could probably open this up a little bit. Maybe this is something like this. It's hard to say, really. It could be. We'll see. So, as I say, if you look on Bookmap, there is 400. You can see it there. It's 450 contracts. I put it around about there. Might be slightly lower. In fact, I think it's actually eaten some of it already, so it might be slightly low unless some of them have been taken. I can't tell. There's more. In fact, there's 800 contracts at 5. That makes it an easier. So you can see those there, unless they get yanked. 850 contracts at 805. Now, we know market acts as a magnet, so it's more likely going to pull it up. Now, whether that's there just to yank it up, just to, sometimes I'll obviously drop them in to yank price up and then pull the order, but it's there nonetheless. So my guess is it may pull back slightly, which it probably is doing a touch now, but my guess is it's going to continue up as long as those contracts are there. If you add those two below, it's more or less 1,000 contracts at around 805 and just under. So it's a fair amount considering the rest of them. Now, obviously, aggressive sellers could come in now and it may get up there. But buyers and sellers, aggressive buyers and sellers, are pretty even at the moment. So based on that, see those orders that got yanked? So that's the thing with these. They're passive orders. They're like limit orders. People throw them in there for obviously one reason or another, but they can change their mind. And whoever had 800 contracts there pulled it for whatever reason. So that's the thing with Bookmap. You've got to keep an eye on them. Sometimes you might see a big order and think price is going up, and then obviously that order can get yanked. But at the moment, if I'm looking, there are a few orders here, possibly for a pullback, but there are still some orders just below 805. So not as much down here. Obviously, the further away these orders are, the less of a magnetic pull they have. But it may come down a little lower, pick up some of these and push up. But you can see orders above and orders below. And if you look at price, it's going sideways, which makes sense. Quite even, 76, 60 odd, 80, 67, 92. Slightly more up here, but you can clearly see we're in a little bit of a tunnel there as such, and you can tell with prices going. But my guess is it's going to push up to there, which I don't know is around 380, 3024, somewhere around there. So it does give you an idea of where sellers are and where buyers are, and it obviously price generally moves towards these. As we know, price moves towards the liquidity. Obviously, then aggressive sellers could come in and push the thing down. But my guess is you can see these orders here. It looks like price is going to come down, and it's probably going to meet some buyers. And then my guess is it's going to push up to this area. So I'll just keep an eye on that. So my guess is small pullback and then push up to around about there. Based on what I'm seeing at the moment. So if we had a second entry long off here, then I don't think it would be a terrible trade to go long. It's just congested at the moment. Nothing you can really do. Technically, if that was bullish, it'd be a second entry long. There is a bit of support here, but it's floating in the middle of nowhere there. Really much better to come back here. But then obviously, would you just want to jump in? Not really. So there may be a little channel with a break and a new low. To be honest with you, it may work, it may not work. I'm not taking that. That bar there is floating a little bit in the middle of nowhere. I'd much prefer it to come down here and maybe confirm that. In fact, I can stretch that a little bit. Just to there, I think it's about right. It is clearly working up, that much we know. It may work that, but I think, is it a bit weak? Depends how you're looking at it at the moment. I think it is. And now you're seeing this all of a sudden, you'd be concerned, wouldn't you? So second entry long, failure. For a short, I wouldn't want to go short at the moment either. Price is obviously bullish at the moment, so it just doesn't enter my head to think about going short. We've had a small pullback, and it is pushing up, so it did work that, certainly for a couple of points. Obviously, just with the nature of it, price going up, you've obviously got that momentum, so any longs, you've got more chance of getting a long right, even if you're lucky than a short. But It did work for a couple of points eventually. It did probably give you a bit of a scare there, but it's kind of floating there, isn't it, in between this bottom tier and the middle of this bottom tier. But NVIDIA CEO sees 2027 at least $1 trillion of revenue and computer demand to be higher than. That's amazing, that is. They make some serious money, NVIDIA, don't they? Especially the price of graphics cards. I paid $500 for mine. It's something like that. Or £500 actually. It's RAM that's gone up at the moment. It is horrendous. I don't know if you can see my RAM from there. You probably can't. It's 2 sticks of Vengeance. It's RGB Vengeance. And I paid about £240 for that. I'll show you the price now if you don't know. 64 GB DDR5 RGB RAM. Look at the price now. It is horrendous. Let me find the ones I actually bought. There you go. That is the RAM that I paid £240 for. Look at the price of it now. It's just under. In fact, it's come down a bit. That was a couple of days ago. It was a pound under £1,000. That is horrendous. It's horrendous. That is $1,000. This is because of AI, I believe. So I was told. But look, it's horrendous. Incredible, isn't it? Really. So if you're in the market now to buy a computer, whereas normally your chip, or depending whether you're a gamer or not, your graphics card may be your expensive component, it's going to be your RAM now. Okay, so we knew there was orders up there, so we hit those orders. It was around about 3 to 4, 803 to 4, and it pushed straight through that anyway. There are still orders further up, so my guess is this thing hasn't finished yet. There are orders at 5. And there are orders at 10 and above. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing continued up. That's a fair old move, actually. So we're up 80, just shy of 90 points already. So let's have a quick look at the daily. Now this actually makes sense, doesn't it? So there's the daily. So we've got one. This looks like a second leg back up. Now that's what we're doing, isn't it? Whether we're working down or whether this thing has found a bottom, I don't know. It's tough, isn't it, at the moment? It's horrible, this stuff. It's horrible to trade. So we've got a bull bar there which is triggered. We didn't quite get down there. That's more or less at the bottom. So if I had to guess, this is probably heading. We got a little double bottom. This is probably heading for that EMA. And we are, what are we? 44 points off it, 45 points thereabouts. So obviously, you know, it looks like this thing could push up, but even the slightest fluctuation in this bar could make a massive difference on our chart. But my guess is before the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised if we got up another 40, 50 points. So interesting. And based on what we're seeing at the moment, that kind of makes some sense. Trouble is, I always, whenever we get a move like this and I'm looking for longs, I always get nervous because the further this thing goes up, you just have it in the back of your mind that it's gotta correct at some point. But it's strange. Sometimes you may come back another half an hour and it's up here, but are we getting a small break? It is going a little bit sideways now, so Well, I was just going to say I wouldn't be surprised if we have a break, but there are still plenty of orders up here. But it's okay having sell orders up here trying to pick a top, but if you've not got enough buyers pushing up, it won't go up. So we didn't get to the top this time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had some kind of a correction here. It looks like we're getting a small break, doesn't it? There's that ATR. Okay, it's come down a bit. That's not too bad. So, would I want to buy? Not really. It's a tiny break. Now, it may just well go up, but whenever we have such a big move like that, I expect a little bit more than a tiny break. Now, sometimes it does happen. Maybe there's a bit of support here, and but I'm not getting into a buy there. There's not much room to the highs. Who knows what it's going to do here? It is off the key entry point. Well, EMA. Who knows? 2 legs. That is possible 2 legs back, but the fact that we've had 2 pushes up makes me nervous to get in here, so I'm just sitting tight and letting it carry on. I don't know, but someone just said on one of the comments on Thomas Wade's, what a nice candle, and someone's put a big X there. It's not a great entry, but I don't know about you guys. Would you take something like that? I wouldn't really, because it's a break. Now, obviously, the bigger these things are, the bigger the break, so you don't know whether, I would probably expect at least something like that, at least, even maybe clearing liquidity here. You know what I mean? That would clear liquidity, but a tiny break like that and a move up, I don't know. You wouldn't. No, it just looks a bit suspicious to me, doesn't it? The fact that it worked doesn't mean it was a good setup, but it did look like kind of two little pulls back. But the fact that I like that second pullback lower than the top, and it was actually higher. So I don't know. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's one of those bars. The fact that it's off. We're bullish at the moment, and it is off the EMA. Is that a good enough reason to buy? Not for me. These bars aren't tiny at the moment. What size was that? 4 1/4. Tick above, tick below, 4 3/4. It's a bit risky, isn't it? There's not a huge amount of room to the highs. I mean, obviously it is bullish. What is there? A couple of points at best, depending on where you got in. It's not something I'd take personally. But we are moving up strong, so maybe because it is strong, as soon as we get a bar like that, or as soon as it bounces, maybe traders are just jumping in. Who knows? It's easy to say that later, isn't it, to market and say we've all heard Max say that, haven't we? It's pretty bullish if you just kind of buy anywhere along here it goes, but it's easy to say that after the fact. Because if I took that and it triggered me and it came back down here and I posted that to Mac, he'll say, well, you got a small break there, you got to leave it. So you just have to go with what you think, don't you? Okay, I am really thirsty at the moment. I'm just going to take a quick few-minute break. Where's me? Oh, I've got it already on. That's strange. I'm just going to take a quick 2 or 3 minutes, make a quick cup of tea, and I'll be back. Okay, so small break, new high. Now, whether this is going off in a different direction, it's always possible. So, there are nearly 1,600 contracts between 10 and 12 for sale. Oh, shoot. Maybe a little bit more, maybe about there. Okay, so between those two lines, there are a shared load of, you can see them there at 10, nearly 900 contracts and just under 800 there. So between 10 and about 12.5, 13. Let's put it around there. So is this going to push up to there? I'd say quite likely. Now, there are just under 200 contracts at 800, so it may pull back to there, but my guess is it's probably going to push up. But with what this is doing, we got a break, 2 pushes. My guess is it's going to push up there. There's no entry for us, really. You may say, well, there's a second well, no, there's a... Actually... there is kind of a failure there, which is trapping. So that is good. Okay, so we've got some news coming up in 5 minutes. That's probably going to push up there. But there are orders 800 or just below, so this may come down for a little bit more. So I'm just keeping it. But that's a chunk of 1,700 contracts there. That's quite a large amount there. So my guess is that's where it's going to go. What it does before it gets there is another thing. So my guess is it will go up. So if we get a decent setup, so I would suggest we've got a small channel like that. We may get a break and a bit more, but we just keep an eye on this. Now, there is a little break, as we know, in a new high. So it's possible this could reverse. Based on looking at the daily, it looks like a bullish day for me. But this, I wouldn't be surprised if traders get in here a bit premature and this comes down, clears this. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest, and that would take us to this area here. There's going to be some liquidity around here, I dare say. So we'll see. But as I say, there are a ton of contracts between these two lines, so that might be enough to pull it up, but I'm not doing anything at the moment. NQ, little channel with a break. Okay, I'm expecting a little flush down, I am. Okay, got some medium impact news in 2 minutes. So it's broke below there. Is it going to come down here? That's quite a strong position, really, I suppose. It's sat right on the EMA, but obviously with the size of the channel. I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked because of the size of the channel if we get this. And that turns into another leg. Sometimes we'll get two legs down and it will look like the two legs and we're expecting it to move up, and then sometimes it'll come down again. So just bigger legs but broken into two. So I wouldn't be shocked at all. That would be quite a small break really for this channel, unless it goes sideways or what it does. I don't, who knows? Who knows? Still got those large contracts there. I mean, between 10 and 15, 16, 17, 18, there's 1,800 contracts. Now, whether that's just, sometimes they'll do this, won't they? They'll drop them in there just to pull price up for whatever reason. And then as it starts to come up above, maybe some of these, they'll drop them. Okay, I expect this to come down a little bit more, possibly down here. There are 160 contracts down here. There will be liquidity below this area, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down just a little bit further. But we're right on that measured move now. But not forgetting, we've already had a break of this channel with a new high. Now, as much as there could be a slightly larger break, I'm not automatically assuming this has to go up. It's very easy to think we've had a break, a new high, two legs back, let's just jump in here, because it may trigger you and continue down, and we may end up having something like that. We jump in long there thinking two legs up we go, it triggers you, hits this top line and then drops down. So at the moment I'm leaving things alone here, and I just want to see where things are going. Now, I do know there are large orders up here, but you never quite know whether this thing pulls up a bit, whether those orders get dropped. Kirk, I blew the new UKFT EVA, but caught a good one on a big PA block counter. Good on you, mate. In fact, there was a video last night, wasn't there? What was it? It was a new video of this guy. What's his name? Can't find it. This guy, I watched this psychology guy. History. This. I listened to this last night. Let me knock the sound off. This is interesting. Have a listen to this. It's like an audio book. It's not long. It's about an hour and a half, I think. I listened to a chunk of it last night. This is good. Trader mindset. No more luck. How to think like a trader pro. Yeah, I watched this last night. I listened to it when I was in bed, actually. So have a look at that. It's definitely worth listening to. Okay, so we have down broken below all this. So that's what I mean. You've got to be careful to jump in here. Thinking this is going up, maybe at this bar here. I'm sitting tight. Excuse me just a sec. Can't get enough trading psychology. Yeah, it does help, actually. I listen to as much as I can. It all helps, doesn't it? Gets you. It's, you know, I've described it like this many times, but it is like being a professional sportsman. You've got to get your head in the game before you trade, haven't you? It's so much up here. You tend to think it goes away. You get better at it, but it doesn't go away, does it? Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Those orders, there was 1,600 orders around that level. You can see them there. They've been yanked. So are they thinking this thing is going down now or what? Who knows? Maybe they'll come back. It's very easy to get focused on this thing. It must go up. It's such a tiny break. Sometimes that's all it takes. So if you think, there we go, we broke below liquidity, let's jump in here and ride this to the top. All of a sudden now, look, it's not looking so good. Would I take a second entry short here? with it being such a break, I don't know whether this thing is going to push up and test the tops again. It could well do, but what I'm not doing is getting caught in the middle of this sort of little battle. So we got 2 legs down, bullish bar. There is a higher low there, so the tendency is to think, let's go long. But we've already had a break, as small as it is, and a new high. It's a clear break if you look at the channel. So my opinion is you need to sit tight here and let this figure out what it wants to do. It may well go up. It could do the complete opposite, but it is starting to get a little bit congested here now, so even more of a reason just to twiddle your thumbs. You took that one there, did you? I'm assuming you got some profit, didn't you? Because it backtracked quite quick. You'd have got something out of it, wouldn't you? Yeah, you'd have got best part of a couple of points. Or did it trigger your push up and then come down? Yeah, for me personally, it's a bit of a no trade zone here. There's always a possibility this thing could be coming down. I suppose if you did take that, at least you got some profit. So this coming down this far, I'll be surprised if it doesn't break below there. There we go. Now this could all be, I mean, it's such a big move. This could all be part, as I mentioned earlier, 2 little legs. This could be just one move. We may push up and come down again. We see it all the time, don't we? We could end up having something like that. Leg and a leg. That's if we do, of course, and if it does continue up, there are no guarantees, but that's quite a strong move, that is. And looking on the daily, it absolutely could come up another 40 points from here, which would take us up 10, 20, 30, right up to this area. But you just never quite know what's going to happen. So this could be part of one big move. So we'll see what happens. Just not ready to go short yet. I know I was going to show you guys. That's not it, is it? No, look at this. I've talked about this lots of times. Let me show you these photographs. This one here. Maybe not. That's the one. Okay, have a look at that. Now, I've talked about this before, about this move down and a bull bar. So let's start from the top here. So we have this strong move down and a bull bar. It triggers over, comes down. That one worked. 3-point risk, 3-point profit. We had a move down. We had a bull bar. Triggered, came down. That one worked. 3-point risk, 3-point profit. Same again down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. Then a bull bar. That one triggered and worked. Same again. We pull down here in this channel. We get one bull bar. In other words, a small pullback. It crosses over, comes down, and that one worked. The opposite direction, we clearly moving up. 1, 2, 3 bars. We get a bear bar there, crosses over. That one worked. 5 trades in a row there that worked. You can clearly see how it's working. You get into one of these channels. We have a small pullback. It crosses over. Sometimes it'll trigger it. Comes back. There's your risk. Now I base the risk 3 points in this case on a 3-point. If the ATR is about 3.5 points, I go for 3 points. But there's your risk. There's your profit. It's just a little pullback in a smaller time frame, but look how well it worked. Even that one, that far from the EMA, I ummed and ahed about that one, but I marked it, and it works comfortably. That one, nice pull, strong move down, small pullback, triggered, came down, worked. Look how many times you can get a trade. You can get trades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a day. 5 trades in a day. Now, I've looked at this, and it's not all roses. You're not going to win anything, but a 1-to-1 risk. Any strategy that has an edge is a workable strategy, but we get lots of these types of moves. But look how simple it is if you want a nice, simple strategy just to look at. Interesting, isn't it? Really interesting how it works. Night tight channel, one little pullback, a bull bar that finishes close to its highs. It crosses over, comes straight down. It's really interesting, isn't it? And I've just looked at this on and off now. I've mentioned this for about 6 months. I talked about a slightly wider channel, but even that one, look, we move down, we get a small pullback, crosses over, works down. Let's see if we can see any in here. Not really. We got nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Well, yeah, we've got one there. You may argue there, but this has gone into a wider channel here, so I may avoid this. But look, bear bar crosses over, comes down a bit, pushes up and works. Same there, channel down, bull bar. Same there. That one worked. That one worked. You know, it's interesting, isn't it, when you look at these things? Now, I mentioned this into ChatGPT. I mentioned the strategy exactly, and it did bring up Al Brooks's name. He has something similar, or he's had something similar. I've not studied Al Brooks before, but I do know who he is. But it's very simple, really, isn't it? You know. Depending on what so the ATR's 3.2, so I would risk 3 points. So if you had that nice little channel down, you had this. Now, if you get a break of it, it may be a bit different, but it's just a little small pullback, isn't it? A little bit of profit taken and then down. But even if what I would probably tend to do is at the close of the bar, I would sell there. So if the bar closed there, there's your risk. And there's your profit comfortably. And the good thing is, more often than not, you're out before you even get below the bar. So little pullback here almost always crosses over and goes down. So if you're stuck for a strategy or something, you want to try something new, or even just look at it and see if it works. Play around with it. But it's got to be quite a bull bar, quite a strong bar. A first counter entry in a trend trade, yeah. It's very simple, very simple. I don't think it really matters what direction it goes in. But is there anything on the NQ? I don't think there is really, is there? Yeah, I don't like it when it's kind of bull bear bull, you know, blue red blue red blue red. But maybe that would even work. Even if you took this one, it still worked. And that one as well, 3 bars down. But I think when I put it in ChatGPT, it said between 3 and 8 bars. So if the move is between 3 and 8 bars and you get that little pullback, if you just sold it at the close of the bar, it's super accurate. And 1-to-1 as well. You've only kind of got to get it right above 50. Obviously, you've got to take into consideration commission, small amount of commission. But, you know, if you get it right 55 plus points, 55%, you're into the profit then. So it's interesting. It's just something I'm going to just watch it more and more, because when you sit here sometimes for 3 or 4 days without a trade, and I see a bunch, you know, I can see 2 or 3 of these just in one move. Certainly something worth looking at, or even try trading some evaluations that way. That way, you're not risking huge amounts there. I don't know whether I'd risk it straight away on my PA accounts, but it's kind of easy when you look at a chart and pick it out because you know it worked. But that chart I did the other day, I put it this way and just went like that, and then I marked where I wanted to put the. In the end, I stopped drawing the channels because I didn't think I needed to. You can visually see that bar there. If I saw that and you sold at that bar, now whether that would work because we got 2 legs up, I don't know. But let's see if it did. Yeah, it did. So if you just bought at the close of that bar, 3-point risk, there's your risk, 3-point profit straight away. You're in profit already. It's about as simple as it gets, and sometimes I think the simplest trades are always a bet. I'm going to have to sort my audio out because it's spiking there. I bet I'm deafening some people, aren't I? Interesting. Okay, so 2 legs down. This is starting to move up now. Would I take a second entry up here? It's a tough one. Maybe that is one attempt to go lower. Maybe we'll have a second attempt. It's very simple though. That's what I like. Simple. You got a lot less chance of messing it up with simple. Now, as that one had just gone through the EMA, maybe don't take it. This one here, it's away from the EMA, isn't it? But when it goes through the EMA, sometimes we'll have a pullback anyway and test it. So I probably wouldn't, if it went above the EMA. So you could tweak this consistently. As this has just gone above the EMA, you would probably leave that. That one isn't near the EMA. That one worked. That one isn't near the EMA. That worked. But these strategies are never quite sometimes as easy as they seem, but you've certainly got a good basis to work with there. So we got a channel there with a break. Now, Thomas Wade's got this as an overshoot, which means I'd expect a deeper correction. If we had a second entry long, I may have a go at this. So there's the break, there's the new high, there's the channel down with the overshoot. We've got quite a strong move up in the other direction, so I wouldn't be surprised if this continued up. So the NQ, we got 2 legs down and a push up. So is that continuing up? It may be. Having said that, I've got orders at 85 to buy, which is there. Let's get rid of this now. Orders to buy at 85. It's not a huge amount up here. So is it going to pull up? What I will say is it's cleared any liquidity there and there. So there's going to be sellers all the way down here. So is this going to push up and clear some of this out? You would think so. See if we get a second entry here. The trouble is you've still got to be very careful. I don't know whether I fancy taking a long trade at the moment. But, as I mentioned, Thomas Wade's got that. There's an overshoot, and as we know, overshoot will sometimes do this, but I think it's probably sensible to avoid longs just at the moment because that channel has technically played out. Okay, there are buyers here, so which it's about to hit, I think. 150, 160 contracts. Okay, so that's hit them. Now let's see if we get aggressive buyers come in. No, it looks like the opposite. There's certainly larger orders further down here. So whether that means much. Okay, going to say there's a bear bar followed by a lower high there. So if this trader's got in that, they've just got stopped there. So is this going to move up? It's hard to say at the moment, really. I'm a bit on the fence. Yeah, we've had a small break at a new high, but this thing could absolutely continue on up. But it could also come down. So at the moment, this is kind of an area of interest. Now, there is kind of a failure there, a long failure, but I'm just staying out here. We may get a full leg over here, so if you get into a short. So, 10,000 tick chart. Got a little channel down there. We've got a bull bar there, which is triggered. And this is looking like it may turn into a higher low. If this pushes up with two legs down, then this could continue up. Trouble is, it's getting a little bit stacked up. It's all right. You may decide to jump in here. It may trigger you and then come down, down, up, down, up. It's getting a bit stacked. Yeah, it's hard to say, really, isn't it? It's not really helping us. That's interesting. That higher low has closed as a higher low. Got a bit of an overshoot. Yeah, so based on that, my guess it's going up. There is a higher low. There is a higher low there. It's broken below there. My guess is that's going to go up. I'm not getting into a trade here because there's no room to the lows. If it gets above there, it may hit some stops, but I think this is absolutely going up, at least for another leg anyway, based on what I'm seeing on the 10,000. But the trouble is, the 10,000, it could trigger and do the complete opposite. But that's why I'm not, as much as I think I know what's going on, I'm relatively confident, but not confident enough to take a trade. 10,000 tick chart, we're at crunch point. If it breaks above there, absolutely, I think it's more likely going on, but we've got a channel down here with what looks like an overshoot. Big bull bar here, which is triggered and only come to the EMA, and then you got a higher low, but because it's stacked up a bit, you never quite know. It may trigger you and come down, and that, what it is, that's the problem. So that's why it's, as I mentioned here, it's hard to know exactly what's going on. It's kind of looking like you would expect a couple of legs before it pushes up, but we already had a break and a new high, so it may be coming down. It's messy, but that doesn't mean it won't come down. So, you know, is this a break here? Second entry short. Is this going to come down and test the lows? It's also a bit sideways, so at the moment I'm just sitting tight here. You may argue there's a triple test there, but look at that. It's triggered it and it's trying to work up. So I don't know where things are going at the moment. It is tempting to look at that because it's broke below that bull bar there with some stops. There'd probably be some liquidity here, but look at that. Look at it now. So you'd be asking yourself, have I done the right thing there? So this is an area of, what does Thomas Way calls it? An area of something. In fact, someone's just gone long there. Tell a lie, they've gone long there. Is that right? They've gone, yeah, someone's gone long there. Where's their stop down here? It's triggered them and stopped them out. You've got to be really careful here. All of a sudden, look, there's a bull bar there, high low, it triggers, it comes down, stops it out, so you're thinking, yeah, price is going down. And then all of a sudden, double trap, it triggers the bear bar and then starts to work up. So I'll stand by that. My guess is it's going to at least push up a little bit. So if you did jump in there, trigger just stopped you out. If you thought, yes, we're going short, trigger just stopped you out. So it's an area of development, he calls it. The uptrend structure is so big that a tiny break, probably part of the structure. Well, that's what I usually think. If it's such a tiny break, it's usually part of it. So then you adjust it. But then look how kind of touch. Visually, especially if you squeeze it, visually it looks right. So I agree with you. A tiny break like that, if we ever get a tiny break, usually I'm looking to adjust it, which is kind of why I was thinking, is it maybe something like that? But then all of a sudden we do this. So it's one of those areas where 1 minute you're thinking, yes, we kind of know what's going on, but the next thing you're thinking, at the moment, it's an area where you've just got to kind of leave it alone, haven't you? Sean, how you doing, bud? The Apex eval sale is ending in 2 days, meaning if you do not pass the eval by then, you will not get the promo PA fees, right? No, they usually give you a week after, bud. I don't know whether that $79 is fixed. I have a feeling it is. But no, usually they'll give you 5 days because that encourages people to take a risk. So I've not seen anything where it says 2 days. I mentioned this yesterday. I wasn't really too sure, to be honest with you. Ben, how you doing, pal? I'm gonna have to adjust my sound later. It's spiking there for some reason. Can I adjust it now? I don't know. I can I? Sorry if it's 1 minute getting loud and then getting quiet. I'll have to have a tweak. Oh, it's on their website, is it? Let's have a look. Yes, it does. Ends in 3 days, including today. So what are we today? So we're Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Ends midnight on Thursday. Yeah, they usually give you about 5 days after. Otherwise, it encourages people to take risks. To be honest with you, I've got some evals now. I'm not rushing them at the moment. I'm quite happy to trade them a little bit slower for a change, I think. Which is unlike me. So, is this a channel down? Have we got 2 legs up? Is this a bear bar? It's tempting. If you look on the NQ, you've got a bull bar there, which is triggered, maybe a leg and a leg. This could come down, but based on this chart, there's the break. So I think there's just as much likely this is going to continue up. I would say 1, 2, maybe a double test there, not a triple test. So it's at this crunch, isn't it? This may be a larger channel, a 2-tiered channel, so this may be a break, and it may well come careering down. So at the moment, for me, there's a flip of a switch here. What I will say is there are sellers at 150 contracts there. So this may well come down. So I'm just sitting tight here. I need 1 trade on one of my accounts and I can apply for $2,000. My other account is just at $5,500. I did a small trade, $185 in it, so I can take $2,000 on that one. So if I can do another nice trade today for $200+, I could withdraw another $4,000. So I'm making sure I get it right. At least I've got some money coming in, although I haven't got a great deal of accounts, but you just got to do what you got to do. See how everybody else is doing. See how my friend Nut is doing. Red. Okay, so he's got red on his Apex and green on some others. At least he's smiling. That's the main thing. Alpine's green as well. Good on him. My God, Jim Carrey's looking old, isn't he? Bless him. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? He's looking old, isn't he? Oof. Okay, so 2 legs up. Now, it's a tough one here. There's a possible lower high there. This looks like it may come down. You've got to be a bit careful here, though. There's something about this I don't like. What I will say, on the NQ, you've got a bull bar there that looks like it's trapped. If it gets below there, so my guess is this is probably going to work. But there's something about it I don't like. It's just too low. I'm hoping it finishes crap. There's going to be liquidity here. Yeah, the bar's no good anyway, to be honest with you. It's just something I don't like about this. You know, with this move down in 2 attempts, well, okay, so Thomas Way's just put that down. So he's looking for the same thing. The bar's no good, really, unfortunately. But it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit stuck in this little bit for me. It's a bit there. I would prefer it a little bit higher. Because I've seen those trigger and push up and stop out and then go down. So the bar's no good anyway, so I left it alone. But it's a little bit sideways here, and that we've pushed down. We could push a bit higher before this comes down, but it does look like 2 legs up that we're going to push down. We'll never know. We may still get a pullback. Yeah, I'm hoping the $79 is the fixed price now. They've not gone back up to the 140, have they? That they used to be 140, didn't it? And they've not gone back to that. Yeah, look, this is going to get stopped out, I think. I don't like that. It pushes down. I've got caught out with those before. I prefer it to push up that little bit more. Yeah, Thomas said weak bar, so I'll wait. Sensible. This looks to me like it might have a quick little shoot up. Looks like a shoulder, head, and a shoulder, so it may come up to here. I've seen this so many times. I call these down and across instead of down and a pullback. And there we go. If you'd have got in there, it trigger just stopped you out. Someone said hard to have a bias. That's a good answer, that. Yeah, someone's just said maybe a failed second entry short on the 10,000 channel with an overshoot, and that could go off in this direction. That not might be a bad call, actually. It has triggered that. It looks like it's trying to push up, doesn't it? In which case, that's what I mean. You get 2 legs. If you jumped in here, you got handed your marching orders there. So that looks to me like it's pushing up there, which is up here, isn't it? So yeah, it's just this awkward area at the moment, isn't it? So if you took that short, trigger just stopped you out. If you're thinking, yeah, second entry short, let's jump in here, trigger just stopped you out. Yeah, so you do get used to seeing these, don't you? When something doesn't feel right. So there's the channel. There's the break. So 2 attempts to push up in the break. I actually said 2 legs up, but actually we're just to the top. This is the break. So maybe that is a better option. So leg and a leg. Something like that, we'll see. So there are still sellers there, 154 contracts. In fact, a little bit above it, there's quite a chunk more. There's 450 contracts around about 2.5. So there's quite a lot here. So this well may be pushing up. That's what I mean with such a big channel. Even though it looks like a big move in the opposite direction, compared to the size of the channel, it's not really that big. If we look at the fib tool, where are we? We're nowhere. I mean, it could potentially pull down to the 50% level. We haven't even got nowhere near what it could come down. So maybe this is now working up. Who knows? Or as I mentioned earlier, we could still get something along those lines, and that would get us kind of in the right area. But who knows? So it's very easy to get sucked into taking a short here, thinking that such a small break, it's on its way down. We'll see. We'll see. I went to the gym last night, busted out some weights at about 11 o'clock. I feel okay actually, but it was quite late, so it's probably going to be tomorrow when I'm going to be a bit sore. But I did go really gentle. I was in there for a total of about 40 minutes. I just did a couple of sets, 2 or 3 light sets on each body part, just to give myself a little bit of a light workout. I've learned over the years, if you go into whether you can't move. My second chart doesn't have a break, does it not? In fact, I stopped using a second chart. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, it is negligible, isn't it? Oh, you're about here, are you? Yeah, let me just. Yeah, I, because they haven't been for a while. I kind of like going when it was quiet. I don't know. There's about 10 or 15 people in there last night, but literally, I just did. I think I was lifting about 7 kilo dumbbells, really light. So I just did incline, slightly raised. For chest, and then I lifted the bench up and did shoulder press. I did about 3 sets of each, and then I did some back, some of those, I can't remember, and then I did some deadlifts, then I did some biceps and triceps, and I went upstairs and just did some leg extensions, some legs curls, and just some for me, some raises for me calves, and then just finished off with a little bit of abs, just a light workout. Last time I went to the gym 4 months ago, I overdid it doing triceps, and something pulled in my shoulder. So you learn after a while. The first 2 or 3 times, if you go easy, then you can lift a bit of you, can't you? But I wanted to make a start. I'm trying to get my head focused in every way I can at the moment. What was I going to do? Let's just have a look at the second chart here. See if this looks any different. I'm assuming that's what you meant, was it? Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Touch, maybe. but then the more you go this way, the more you start to skim the top. Yeah, it's negligible, isn't it? I think that's what you meant, wasn't it? It looks okay there. As I say, it's such a small break. Perhaps even if it is such a small break, perhaps it will still push up. It certainly looks like it's going to go up, but I've seen this picture before, and all of a sudden you're looking for a way up and we end up getting somewhere along those lines. So I think we had something similar yesterday. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, it's negligible. Let's have a look on the 10,000. Yeah, I mean, you can argue there's just a break there. It looks like a little channel with a slight overshoot, and then it is trapping a few shorts there. And then it does look like it's going up. I wouldn't think it would be plain sailing straight up. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another attempt or somewhere along the lines, but it does look like it's trying to test the highs, doesn't it? We'll see. Hello, lad. It is zigzagging up. It's not going up strong, so I'd expect maybe an attempt at a second leg. There's bound to be some liquidity here. This thing may have a quick sweep before it pushes. We've still got a chunk of sellers there. So I'm always wary. If I think price is testing the top, I prefer the sellers to be above there, which is telling me it's more likely to go to the top. But when you've got sellers here before the top, I'm always wary about going along into them. Because as I mentioned, I wouldn't be shocked if this thing takes a quick dive. Husker, how you doing? Yeah, no, you haven't really missed anything, mate. Not a lot. Okay, it's kind of a failure, isn't it? Second entry short failure. Would I want to go long here? Not really. It's a little bit congested. As I say, this thing could have a quick dive. Yeah, this is very weak, isn't it? And very slow, and often this just has a flush down. Traders slowly trying to find ways in and looking to ride this to the top. I used to do it myself. See, on the NQ, you jump in here, or as it starts to go up, and all of a sudden this thing flushes. Let's see if it does. Slower it goes up, quicker it comes down. beautiful day today where I am. Absolutely stunning. It's about 14 degrees, sunshine. It's lovely. Finally, getting rid of this winter. I might give the lawn its first mow later. So, fair chunk of concrete. What's the word I'm looking for? Fair chunk of contracts is the word I'm looking for up here. Now, starting to get a bear bar there. Now, is this thing going to slip out the bottom? It's clearly stacking up now, so I'm staying well out of this. Someone said maybe we get a fail second entry short. I'm not taking a long at the moment. This is struggling to go anywhere. As I say, I think this, or I certainly wouldn't be surprised if it makes another attempt, whether it gets all the way down. I think we had something like this yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We had that move up, didn't we? And then it looked like it was testing it. So we had 2 legs down and then 2 legs up and found that top. But same again, even that looks, if you look at the fib tool, it's kind of well within where it could pull back. So still didn't get anywhere near the 50%, but 2 legs down, 1 leg down with a correction, and then same again, 2 legs down, and off it eventually went up to the tops. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had the same scenario. It looks it's going very sideways, isn't it? So I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm certainly not trading in this. It's wicky. It's not pretty. I think this thing's going to drop. Yeah, the good thing about Thomas Wade's is if you look on, is it there, mate? Yeah, he posts his regular, doesn't he? Literally. Every 5 to 10 minutes he posts his chart. So if you want something to confirm what you're looking at and you are part of this, it's useful to have this. So I like that. I've just noticed he's got this on here. I've not seen this before. I might have a look through this later. Interesting. I've not noticed that before. I think I'll have a little look later. Trade in the... Is this current, is it? Someone's saying fail second entry long. I do think this may have a shove down, but who knows? There may be a second entry long and this may push up. So because it's going up so slow, it's not got a lot of strength behind it, but that doesn't mean it won't work. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. So there is a second entry long there. See if this triggers and comes down. If it does, then my guess is it's going to work its way down and clear some of this out. But it could just well go up. Who knows? This is a no trade zone for me. Someone's put second entry long. It is a second entry long, granted, but it's stacked up and it's going up really slowly. And when it does that, there are loads of traps. It's easy to get stuffed. It's clearly stacking sideways. So if you took that, you'd be thinking, oh, sugar. But you never know, it may come down to the main hold. Sometimes it does. I mean, there's clearly a little bit of support there, so it may hold. Thomas Wade's now got this, a bigger channel up, and that may be the case. The trouble is, you don't know until the end of the day. That's the trouble. Mac might mark that. Well, at the moment, it's hard to trade that, but if this thing carries on like this up to here, he'll mark it. But would I really want to take that at the moment? Not really, because it's struggling to get up. It's got no real backbone at the moment. So for me, best thing to do is just to sit tight. So you're going to tick off it there. Is that just going to shove through or is it going to hold? There is possibly a failure there as well. So I just wouldn't take it when it's like this. It may trigger it, come down. It's got a little bit of a stop there, which it'll hit. And that may sort of bring it down. But it could trigger there, which it's done, and push up. It's very much up and down, isn't it? Red, green, red, green, red, green, red. What comes after red, green? So it may well go up. So you've got to be so careful. You may be thinking, yes, as soon as that stop down we come, and then all of a sudden that happens. So when it is sideways like that, best thing to do is just to sit tight. I have my ideas, I think, where it's going to go, but it's an educated guess as opposed to something I'm quietly confident about. So there you go. If you took that second entry long, you got handed. I bet there was a couple of people who took that. Maybe second entry long, someone else. It is a second entry long, but the context is wrong. We're clearly struggling to get up, and it's clearly stacked up, so that's a big no-no, really. I think it's going to come down. It may not, though. It may kind of still follow that area. That looks a little bit better, so it may bounce off here and push up. But because it's struggling to get up, I'm avoiding longs I am at the moment. I'm not taking shorts either. We could get this other sort of leg down, so it's just sitting and waiting. You say there won't be no blue arrow. I'll tell you what though, that's the thing is with Mac. If let's say we had that, yeah. Let's say we had that. If this thing bounced there and carried on up, I bet you Mac would mark that. He'd say 1, 2, 3, triple test, second entry long. That's the thing about marking a channel after the fact. If it bounces here and pushes up strong, you mark it. But you can't take that there at the moment because you don't know it's going to continue up. It may well do, and if it pushes up and you look at the chart later, you're going to go second entry long, triple test, let's go long there. But that's the thing with marking a chart after the fact. You can't unsee what it did, and that affects your bias. There's no possible way around it. It will absolutely affect your bias. If that took off from there, Mac would mark it. But when you don't know what comes after this, you can't take it. You just have to go on the fact that it's sideways and the fact that it's struggling to get up. But I can't tell you how many times I've been looking for a way into this, thinking it's got to hit the top, and it does that. So I avoid it now. The slower it goes up, often the quicker it comes down. So I just sit tight, I do, and do nout. So this may be that second leg down. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little pullback here and then a second move down there. It's going to be liquidity here. Traders looking for a way up. So let's just do that now. If we do get a pullback, it may turn into something like that. Who knows? That kind of would make sense, wouldn't it? If we do get a couple of legs up, we may find some support here. We'll see. There's another one of those scenarios there. Channel down, pull back. Let's see where this ends. I'm not going to take it, but we'll just mark it. I was talking about that setup earlier. If this finishes bullish, I'll mark it and see if it comes down. Go on, a little bit higher. Okay, it's no good anyway. So that one worked. Pull back close to its high. Would I take that? It's close enough to its high, I think. It crossed over, came down. That one I wouldn't take because we've clearly got some support there, so I wouldn't expect that to go higher. Good work, that one, or it's looking like it might. But it's not bullish enough really to, although it technically did push up and then rejected. Excuse me. So this is the channel. 2 attempts to push up. 1 leg, 2 leg, and then down, I think. So there's your 1 leg. There's your second leg. Where did it finish? Look at that. In fact, there's a little bit. It's a little bit larger than that. Two legs up, a tick off the top, and then down. So yeah, so this is part of the channel. Touch, 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 touch. Maybe a 2-tiered channel. I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of it, but there's the break. So we had 1 leg up, second leg up, clearly struggling to go up, and then down it came. So I'd expect that to probably find the lows, and that would be the second leg down of the move. And let's see then if it pushes up. Oh, excuse me. So there are some sellers at around about there. See if this thing pulls back a little bit. Doesn't look like it's going to, does it? Oh, excuse me. Okay, so is this a pullback? There is a channel with a small break. As I say, there's always that possibility that it may do something like that. First leg down with a correction, second leg down. So I wouldn't take this anyway. It's too far from the EMA. What is it? I've got no idea. There are some buy orders there. So bear bar there, triggered. Where's this going? I'll be surprised if it doesn't break above there. Oh, excuse me. Not interested in a short like this. There's not much room. By the time it finishes, if it does, it could be considerably lower. It's too far from that EMA. Stacked up a little bit. There's no room to the lows. It may break below there anyway, so just sitting tight here. Okay, I'm going to have to make myself a coffee. I'm dozing off here. Let me leave that with you like that. So I'll be about 3 minutes. I'm just going to grind some beans quickly and knock up a black coffee, and I will be back. Okay. Right, what is going here? Is this thing coming down for another leg? Is this going to be like a second entry short? Tough one. There are sellers at 92, which is there, and there are buyers at 80, which is there. So does that mean this is going to come down? Trouble is, because we've had a leg there with a correction and another leg, there's no guarantees it's going to come down. So when I put that there like that, it's a kind of an idea, really. Is this coming down for a second leg? Answer is I don't really know. Can't take that anyway, even if I thought it was. Probably should get rid of it, really. Same again. It's hard to know what to do here. We could come down for this full leg, which means it comes down, but that may be enough. Traders may decide to start buying back into that. Having said that, there are orders down there, so I would expect it to get a little bit lower. I don't think there's any possibility of something larger, really. It's a bit too early, that is. So Mac's got a weird big channel there. He does sometimes. He's got this. Personally, I don't really see any massive benefit with something larger like that, but maybe it is, and maybe this is the break. Maybe we got two legs down, who knows, but I'm not a fan of it. He does that a lot, doesn't he? He gives us some odd channels sometimes, but the guy knows what he's doing, so you can't say he's wrong. Yeah, there's no benefit for him. If you draw a channel, the reason really you're drawing a channel is to know where to trade from. You can't draw something like that and have to wait for it to get down here to take a trade. There's no benefits to it, really. I mean, we can see it's going up. It doesn't do anything for you, so I really can't see the point. In what way does that help you? It doesn't. You see what he's doing, but how is that going to help you? The trouble is, if you're in a channel, we use channels to know where to trade from. So as this thing's up here, you're saying you can't take a trade till it gets down here. You may miss out on something around here. I don't know. Oh no, I seem to moan about the guy a lot lately. I don't kind of mean it in a nasty way. I think he's a nice bloke. But yeah, I've been trading a while now, so I've been trading long enough to have an opinion, and there are some things I think he could make. Now I'm just saying this from a customer's point of view. When you've been a customer for a while, you've earned an opinion. Now I've been working my arse off in this business for over 5 years, so I think I know enough to have an opinion, and I just think these lessons I've learned could have been a lot less painful and a lot easier if he'd have done things a little bit different. But I certainly never mean that in a nasty way. Little Hammer, how you doing, buddy? Being nice doesn't allow you not to be accountable. Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the biggest ifs, I think he needed to talk about losses. And identify places where you may have taken a trade and got stopped out. That is vital. Sometimes if a trade doesn't work, as a teacher, I'd be saying, okay, some people may take a trade there. I wouldn't because of this. That's why it didn't work. No point in going, there was a trade there, there was a trade. That doesn't do nothing for you. It really doesn't. Some people may argue that it does, but in my opinion, it does nothing for you. All it does is makes you feel inferior because you're not seeing 20 trades a day. So there is a higher low here. we've hit some buyers down here, but at the moment, for me, it's what, 18 ticks. It may work, but I don't know. At the moment, price, we've got this move down with a correction. We could get some more move downwards, and every time you decide to go long here, the thing comes down, and that may not be any different. So I don't think it's safe to go long just yet, if that's what you want to do. It's just an area of staying out. It doesn't mean it won't work. And yet again, I wouldn't want to go short here. It's a little bit like this, isn't it? So there's not really much you can do here, in all honesty. We have got a bull bar there with a higher low, granted. And it may well come up and clear this, but it could turn on you. You know, I drew this a while ago. There's always this possibility we could end up having something like that, and you're going long right into the edge. That would make sense. Leg down with a correction and a second leg down. It's just how far this thing's going to come down before traders decide maybe they want to buy and this thing go up. That's if it does. It may not. You know, it did yesterday. Eventually, we had this big move up, and then we had two larger legs down, and then eventually it found its way up. So it could do something like this, but we're kind of in this area at the moment, aren't we? Whereas you don't know whether it's far enough to come down before it goes up. My guess is it could come down lower. And that's what I mean. We're in this area. There could be a triple test here, and then it may come down and reach this. In fact, Marco took that long. It's just risky for me. This is personally, as it worked for him. I think it worked for him, but touch. It could be coming down for this second leg. So for me, it's a no. I think it would have worked for him. And that would be a second entry short. Trouble is, that's an engulfing bar. It's 21 ticks. The only issue I have with this channel down here is when we came off the top, we didn't get down to the bottom, which makes that move down a little weak. I still think it's probably going to work, but I wouldn't trade it. Where did he get out? I think he got out. Ooh, he may not have even got out. Where did he get out of 89.50? He might have been okay there. 89.50. Oh, he may have just missed that. $89.50. It is 89.50. He may have just missed that. That's a shame. There's 89.50. That's what I mean. You've got to be so careful here. You can see it's struggling to get up. No, for me, this is an area where you just got to sit tight. I don't know what it's going to do. I mean, with what I'm seeing, there's a leg down, there's a correction, and it is looking like there's another leg down. Now, I was tempted to take that, but it was 21 ticks, tick above, tick below. You're risking 23 ticks. When it comes off the top, I like to see it down the bottom. But when we came up, we didn't quite get down to the bottom. And then when you see this, you don't know whether it's going to go sideways. So you might decide to jump in there, and it could come up a bit higher. So although that did work, it was too rich for my blood, that 21 ticks, tick above, tick below, 23 ticks, too much. You've got to be careful here, really. Yes, it's looking like we're getting this second down, but it is going sideways, and you never quite know whether it's going to, you know, you've got traders going along there. It may come down here, trigger you, and then push up. So you never know. So it's a bit of a danger zone, this, really, isn't it? You try the limit, we need a new low. Yeah. This is looking quite accurate, actually. although there's the bottom. We didn't quite get down there. It doesn't mean we won't have another go. Yeah, I'm surprised Marco took that. He's quite a smart trader. Mind you, it just goes to show, doesn't it? It's very easy sometimes when it's like this to read it wrong. I've done it myself many times. I got it completely wrong a couple of weeks ago. It triggered me like a right sucker. So it just goes to show anybody can get caught out. When it's doing like this, it's very easy to kind of get the wrong end of the stick, isn't it? And you end up getting shafted yourself. But that's trading, unfortunately. You know, we're human beings, aren't we? I do wonder how much of this is going to go to AI. I'm blown away with how good AI is. Now, obviously, there are people talking about AI and trading all the time, isn't it? I suppose, you know, a lot of algorithms are kind of, you know, computer programs, and, you know, how AI is getting more and more. How much it's going to take over trading, who knows? So same again, I just couldn't take this. There's a little double bottom there. It may trigger you and push up. But it's just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes you do nothing, the thing just keeps coming down, but that's the danger. If it's not right, you've got to leave it. It doesn't matter whether it worked or not. Sometimes it's better that it doesn't work, because, you know, you may next time decide to have a go on it, but taking that is way dangerous. We've got a double bottom. You may argue we've had 3 bounces there, possibly even 4. It may well trigger you and then push up. Not just that. There's no room to the lows anyway. There's a tick or two at best, isn't there? You have to try and be patient and wait for clean structure. Absolutely. All this, a lot of this is speculation. We can see what it's looking like, but the market it's very, very clever at making you do things. It really is, and that may sound a bit paranoid, but it is. It's very clever at making you look like it kind of sucks you in, and that's where you've got to be so careful. That's why these kind of traps work and all this. I mean, look, you do nothing, look what happens, it comes down, but it's just too dangerous to take that. It really is, because there's no room to the lows. You hear Max say there's got to be enough room to the lows. There's nothing there. There's barely half a point. You do nothing, the thing comes down. Next time you jump in, it triggers you as a third bounce here and pushes up, and as a break of the channel, clears out all this liquidity, and then it may come down. But you know, we've been trading long enough to see what we think's happening in a leg, but how far this is going to come down, we don't know. Is it going to have a full leg? Is it actually going to pull back at all? There's no guarantees. No, there isn't. I agree. I think that's why I've had a few hiccups lately, because the pressures of not being able to make money has been getting to me a little bit, and that's why I took some risks. But it just goes to show now, if I could turn back the clock a couple of weeks and decide not to take them, I'd have jumped at it. But it just goes to show no trades and no losses are better than, you know, the alternative. If there's no setups, you can't take the trades. You've just got to sit and protect your accounts. Because the alternative is to take some risk and then you get your arse handed on you on the plate. It really doesn't work. You do learn in the end, but you still have those moments where you kind of lose sight and slip up. But, you know, I've said this a million times. We have a saying in the UK, if you bang your head against the wall enough times, you realise it hurts, and eventually you'll just stop doing it. As much as we've all got to earn a living, you shouldn't do it at the expense of taking big risks, because you're going to be no better off. So leg down, are we going to get a second leg down? Possibly. That would more or less give us 2 attempts. So it's very, I often wonder really, if we get an absolute measured move, is it worth just going a couple of micros and buying long and just taking a, if it bounces here nice, dropping a couple of micros in here, putting a stop here and trying to ride it up, it's gonna work up more times than not. Trouble is, where do you get, does it go from there, or does it go from here? That's the key. So look on the 10,000, that makes a bit more sense. You can see that much clearer. Move up, 2 legs down. So at some point there are buyers at 75, which is here. So is that low enough? I don't know. Who knows? So based on what we can see, a move up with a break, couple of attempts to go lower often, or a correction, or whatever you want to call it, and usually then it'll push up and test the highs. Usually, doesn't always, but more often than not it does. So let's find out where the measured move is. So we're not far off. What is this? 69.25. We're very close to it now. Be interesting to see what happens. What I'd love to see is a bounce, not a huge bullish bar. But who knows? We'll see. See if it works. Okay, we're basically on it now, aren't we? You can adjust it a touch. Let me just get rid of that. Let's make it accurate. So, okay, we've hit that measured move now. Push that up a touch. Pull that down a touch. If you want to be accurate, and that can come down. How far do we get? Okay, so we've broken through that measured move. There's liquidity. It's always nice. The more liquidity you can get out, the better it is, the more chance it's going up. And then we get a bull bar. So it's not a huge bull bar. What do? Do you take it or do you not take it? I tend to not. I would want a higher low, really. It hasn't triggered anyway. You never know. It may trigger you and come down further. We see this pattern all the time. But I don't know. In some cases, it's worth taking, because even if you capture half of that move, even if you can capture half of that move, there's 20 points just to the center. So in that case, is it worth taking? Maybe it is. You lose, I don't know, 11 ticks 3 or 4 times in a row, and you catch one move. So maybe it's worth it, but I think the higher low is the safer bet. Or is that a classic trap? Mind you, what I will say is, if this is a channel, this is looking like an overshoot anyway. So I'm also looking for sellers as well that I might be going along into. 77. There are sellers there. Plenty of room up to that EMA. Hey, bud. How you doing, matey? So far, it's stacking up, which means there's a little bit of... I'm certainly not ready to go long yet. You just got to leave this and let it sort itself out. I want to see real rejection, and we're not seeing it at the moment. And there are buyers at 65, which is a fair amount down. So sometimes when you see this, you're thinking it has to go up. Sometimes you'll get a complete another leg down here. It's weird how it works. So if you'd have bought in there just for the hell of it, I mean, it's a good setup for some people. It's a small risk, but if you can capture a chunk of that move, it's well worth doing. You could lose 5 of those trades and just get one right for the top, and you'd be in profit. Bart trader. Yeah, one thing I like about him, he's not afraid to take a trade. He sees his setup and takes it regardless. Yeah, he does a lot of kind of fail breakouts and that overshoots and stuff, doesn't he? He does have a fair amount of losses, but it doesn't stop him taking the trades. I'd end up killed in a corner, panicking. But he's got quite a lot of. You need to have nerve with trading, don't you? So is it going up so far? But if that is an overshoot, that might be the catalyst to push up. We've certainly got a leg down with a correction, and we're starting to see a move up. He'd be throwing something out. Yeah, oh, I've done that before with a monitor. It was a cheaper one. Like I've got a couple of widescreen ones now, but yeah, it's easy done. I bet there's been a few fists through monitors over the years with traders, isn't there? I do wonder why that's a trade. Why traders have many screens, so you can break a few and still manage. Trouble is, it's looking like it's going, and sometimes it can do that, and you get all excited, and then it turns down there. I'll answer you still in Vlad's Discord. No, I'm not. Well, I technically am, but he gave me free. What is it? What am I? Moderator thing. So he let me stay in it for free. I just didn't have the time, mate, to be honest with you. I think he was doing 3 hours on a Sunday. Well, I found out I trade better if I have the weekend off, and I think during the day Friday, well, obviously I'm trading and stream, but he's okay actually. He's a good guy. I had a phone call with him. He phoned me up last week, I think. I was chatting to him for about 45 minutes. So what the hell have I done here? Where's it gone? Oh, there we go. Trouble is, when you stream and you got to try and earn money on a Friday, so I need to be working. But he's all right. He's a nice guy. I had a bit of a frustrating week, and he had a chat with me. It made me feel better. My wife says I'm lucky that we're in Argentina when you have the rallies on the windows. Are those railings, or are you sure you're not? Are you sure you're not trading from a prison cell by any chance, with bars on the windows? This thing looks like it's going up, but it's just stacked up. There's nothing you can do here, really. We have got 2 legs down, and that kind of would be the scenario to move up, but it's just a bit sketchy, this. You may decide to jump in, and then it's going to flush and get rid of you. It's typical, isn't it? You do nothing down here. But the thing is, if you're the type of trader to take that, it's not a huge risk. But, you know, if it works out like it's looking like it's going to work out, you can make some real money off that. And as I say, you only need to get that right one time in 5 to capture that move up there, and you've more than made your money. Feels like the president of I know that feeling, mate. But there is, well, we can see what it looks like, can't we? The move down, the correction, and the move down again, or on a bigger chart, a leg and a leg. In fact, if you look on, the thing is, the bar's not great on the 10,000, is it? Oh, shoot. Where are you? That one. The bar's not great on the 10,000, is it? It's not an inside bar, but ideally you want to see it break below. But you can clearly see what we're looking at, the move up and the correction. So, well, that's the key. If you take that down there and take that small risk, you know, potentially catch a really good move. So how far has it gone up already? It's gone up a fair amount already, isn't it? Well, 7.5 points, and it may keep on going. So I can see sellers up there, which look to me like they're going to get absorbed on Bookmap. If they hit that, they'll start to appear more and more. I think there's going to be a ton load of liquidity there, isn't there? So certainly got something to ride up on. A few people took that. The only thing that put me off that was that we came from the top, so we didn't quite get down the bottom. And often when we don't get down the bottom, that leads to a break. Lack of momentum down and leads to a break. It didn't in this case. Maybe it got close enough, but we see this every day, don't we? It doesn't quite get down, that leads to a break. So I always kind of avoid them. It is an engulfing bar as well, which means it's less reliable, but you can clearly see it is finding support there. You've certainly got a higher low. You've certainly got bulls trapped here and here quite lightly, haven't you? So it's got something to ride down on. So let's see what happens here. So channel with a break. So sellers, I like the fact that we're getting sellers up here, which is giving some kind of a magnetic pull. And there are buyers here as well, which is interesting. So my guess is this is going to continue up. Second entry long I'd have a go at here, I think. We've hit that measured leg. We've gone a little bit sideways and pushed up relatively strong. Well, there's the momentum shifted. This needs to finish bullish, really. Okay, that's not too bad. You still got to be a bit careful around here, I think. Okay, so that's broke. Now, I certainly wouldn't have taken that one. Even if I'm thinking about going along, I'd want the higher low, really. That avoids the possibility of that happening. I'm not saying it's going to push down, but I would prefer a higher low or a second entry long. Trouble is, although we've had these two legs down and it might well find its way up, you don't know what it's going to do in the meantime. We had that kind of scenario yesterday, didn't we? Kind of worked up, then it went, and then it had a pullback, and then it started to work up, and then we had that quick drop. So it eventually found its way up. But the trouble is with Pats, with our stock going one tick below the signal bar, you've got no room for error. And the slightest, how many times in the years we've been doing this have we been ticked out by one tick only for it to carry on? So half the time it's not necessarily getting the direction right, it's waiting patiently for that clear setup where other traders are going to jump in, and you're kind of safer. You're getting a bit, I've learned over the years, you're getting a bit premature when you get shafted, so you've really got to wait. You do get used to seeing those premature ones where you kind of jump in a bit early, you get stopped out, and then up it goes. It's infuriating. Or it used to be. It doesn't happen as much. I still get caught out at the odd time, but most of the time now, you do get used to it. The more you sit here day, I've been sat here for 4 hours a day for the last 5.5 years now. You do get used to seeing these areas where they look a bit trappy, and if there's any doubt really, or there's any uncertainty which way it's going, you've really got to sit out. I mean, look at this. This looked good all of a sudden, and you'd have made some profits there, depending on what you go for. But then look at all this all of a sudden. Is this now going to flush down and clear this and some of this? It's just not going up strong enough for me. But then there's always a possibility that there's something a little bit wider, and maybe up we go. Second entry long. So there is a second entry long if this finishes. But I don't know, this to-in and fro-in, and you could argue 1, 2, 3 triple test. It may go short. It may trigger you in a little bull bar, trigger, and then come ranking down. Thomas Way's got that chart at the moment, same as me. I've put it there. I don't say I'd absolutely trust it, but I don't think it's the worst trade in the world going there. But is it a little bit sideways? You're certainly going to hit some stops up there if you can get up. I don't think it's a terrible trade, but it's getting larger and larger. And the trouble is, by the time this finishes, there'll be sod all left. If it dropped below there and finished here, above that EMA, I'd be inclined to have a go at that. But there's no sight, there's nothing left, so you've got to leave it. You're going to tick above there, you've got a point at best, and that's to try and get out as well. Now it may well go up, but unfortunately, I'm just sitting tight here. Most of the time a lot of the time you sit tight, it does carry up, but if there's simply no room to the top, so it's not valid. As much as I've got a reasonable idea we're going to go up, if we can break above that bearish bar, there's bound to be some stops there, but it's a little congested. So you just got to sit and wait. It's not looking so good all of a sudden now when you're in it for 18 ticks, tick above, tick below. You got 20 ticks on the ropes there. If you get that wrong, and that's the problem. You can just see it's a little bit sideways. EMA's flat, so that can upset the momentum a little bit. And I bet you now there have been traders going along there. It may well go up. Sometimes it'll come back and give you the frights. But you can see it's a little bit congested there. Bounce, but there you go. See, so if you got in there, trigger just stopped you out. And then we may have two legs. Now it may go up. But I bet you... Let's have a look. Someone got in on a deep entry. Okay, I will risk a limit order deep entry. Did he get a deep entry? Yes, he did. So I reckon Thomas Wade's took a loss there. He said, I'm going to get in, I'll risk it, but on a deeper entry. So he'll have had his order back here, so it came down and unfortunately stopped him out. It's just something about this I don't like the look of. It's just making me uncomfortable, and you got to listen to that inner voice. It does save your neck, I can't tell you. Got me. Someone else. Oh yeah, Thomas Wade took a loss there, I think. Got me, he said. I bet there'd have been a few others as well there. It's just on that crunch line. Are we really working up? You just got to be so careful. It does look like two legs, and it does look like, but the trouble is, that's what I mentioned earlier, you never quite know what route it's going to take. It may end up picking a few off, stopping you, and then it lashes up. It is frustrating, really, that it's not rocket science to get the direction right, but it's waiting for that good setup that other traders are going to like that area and kind of jump in with you, and then you got more chance of it working there. But there's just something about this which is look at the EMA. That says it all for a starters. You just never quite know what's going on here. It's not moving up strong for me really to have any kind of interest. So if you notice, though, people, when they take a trade and win it, they post a chart, and then when they don't, they don't post anything. Thomas Wade does, to his, fair dues to him, he does. He's got no problem with that, which I think's it says a lot about a trader. That they're comfortable in themselves. But I bet that caught a few out. So I'm getting to that. I don't like it at the moment. I still think there's a fair chance this is going to go higher. We've come off the bottom. This looks like 1-2 attempts to go lower. So my gut feeling is it looks like a move up with a couple of legs, a couple of attempts to go lower, but it's not strong whichever way you look at it. Disco, how you doing, buddy? Trouble is you can't trust it, can you? It did similar yesterday, didn't it? Pushed up and then it had this little bit. Eventually it went, and not before it came down and cleared all this lot. before it pushed up. You can see though, I watch a lot of stuff on these liquidity sweeps and how they how these institutions kind of manufacture these things to get that move up. But you can see where it pushes below, can't you? And once it gets below all this, that's when it starts to take off. It's so I always like to try and get in when I know it's cleared as much of that as it can. Stops you getting caught in it. I'm still expecting a move up. This to me, we've gone a bit sideways. We've had these two legs. There are bound to be traders there, but sometimes it will come down and retest again. We've kind of had one push up and another test. Sometimes it will do this before it pushes up. Trump speaking, is he really? There are buyers down here at around about 68, which is there. And sellers at 82, which we know, which tells me if it comes down, buyers are interested in riding this up. But as I say, with just what I'm looking at the moment, to me it looks like it's just coming to retest this area, and then I expect to move up. I certainly wouldn't confidently trade it because I'm not that confident, but okay, it's getting close to these buy orders now. Let's see if these make a difference. Okay, that's picked off some of these buyers. Let's see where this thing goes. Has it actually ticked below it? I don't think it has it? Are they both level? They look like it. Yeah, they are. So it's had a perfect bounce there. Let's see if this thing takes off from here. There are buyers a little bit lower as well at 60. 157 contract. Is this thing going to come down? Trump senior counter-terrorism officer quits over Iran war, blaming pressure from Israel. US military ground invasion of Iran has already begun. That's when things can get messy, isn't it? is kind of a lower high here. I'm just not getting involved here at the moment. We've had our move. I don't know what's going on here, whether this thing's going to come down, stop out this bull bar or what, I don't know. It's just not clear at the moment. We're not getting that shove up that I kind of thought we might do. We're struggling a little bit around here. It may well go, but I'm certainly not confident in taking a trade at the moment. There's not enough room to the lows. It would have worked by a tick, but there's no room, is there? That's the trouble. I don't know. What is that point-wise? So it would have worked for we're trading one contract on this or two? One contract on here, so it didn't work. It's just not great, is it? The bar's slightly, it's just not strong enough. You don't know it's going to do that. So is this momentum changing now? Is this a channel with a break and a new low? Is it going to find its way up or what? I got no idea at the moment. We've had the measured move down. We've tried to push up. We've really struggled and then we're down again. So at the moment, this is just why the channel is starting to... Yeah. It's just hard to know what to do at the moment. There's nothing you really can do because it's not clear. 1 minute it's looking like it's moving up. You're looking something like that. Maybe. Is this the move down and we've made a couple of attempts to go higher? It could well come down. It's hard to say. I've learnt not to trust anything. You know, maybe a year or two back I'd be doing everything I could to try and get into a long year to work it up, but I've given up trying to I've given up assuming that price has to do certain thing. It doesn't. It can if it was that easy, if you know it looked like it was going up and you went long, life would be that easy, but it's never that easy. So I just don't assume anything anymore. I have my ideas, but I certainly don't trade on 95% of them. You know, I like to work out where price is going because it gives you a general understanding of how it works, but same here, bearish bar here, longs possibly trapped here. Would I go short here? Not really, because I don't know that it's going to come down. It's looking like it's coming down, but we've had a push down, a pullback and a push down. We haven't got very low. We certainly haven't got down here, so sometimes it can backfire then. You know, perhaps it may be clearing liquidity for another shove up. I got no idea at the moment. It didn't trigger anyway. Okay, so someone else has got another channel down there, so it's not just me. It doesn't look terrible, does it? Obviously, the more it moves, the more we'll kind of figure it out a bit. But maybe this was kind of a couple of legs, and we made a few attempts to push high, but it just didn't have the legs. It clearly struggled. It took ages to do that, and then it seems to be falling down all easy. So same again with that one. 1 minute it looks like it's coming down, then all of a sudden we're up and above. So you've got to be so careful. I wouldn't even take a second entry short here because we've come off the tops and we've barely got past the centre line. So, you know, I really wouldn't be surprised if price comes up to this area again and tests this area. I can see sellers at 82.5, which is there. So price we could have two legs up and it may try and clear some of this. Who knows? And then I got quite strong buys at 65, which is there. There's 469 contracts there. That looks to me like a quick block that's been thrown there to try and yank price down, not necessarily to buy. Trouble is, if you've got people with sell positions here, what's to stop someone sticking a massive buy order in here to try and yank price away from you? I don't know how it works. I believe a lot of that is supposed to be illegal. Is it more immoral than illegal? I don't quite know. But if you're into a short position and price is going up, you could quite easily put a big buy order down there if you've got enough money to move the markets, and that may slowly yank price towards you and away from your order. Who knows? So looking on the NQ, it looks like a move down with one attempt to go higher and possibly a second attempt to go higher. So for me at the moment, everything's pointing towards it's struggling to get up. So it's more likely going to find its way down. I would have said, but that is educated guess maybe. So maybe something like this: 2 attempts, move down, 2 attempts to push up. We did this, we moved down, had a couple of attempts to push up, and then it failed. Maybe it's doing the same. Who knows? See, there is a second entry short here. I'm not taking it. One, it's above that EMA. Two, I think it may push a little higher. So I'm not. I'm sitting tight here. This has got trap written all over it. It may well work, but too risky. Too risky. I mean, there's always the possibility we could be making something slightly different. No, I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what we're doing here. I have a feeling we may try and push up a little higher. That's got trap written all over it. Excuse me. So you do nothing, the thing drops. Trouble is, whenever we don't get down to the bottom here, it looks like lack of momentum to me, and it often leads to a break. There already may be a small break there. Yeah, you take it easy, Richard. Have a good one, buddy. Nothing for me today. Gotta go. Yeah, you take it easy as well, mate. Take it easy. Yeah, it's not the easiest of days today. We get a lot of these. But it is. Markets just chopping sideways on the daily, so we know markets are fractal. So it has the same effect. It has done since late November. Well, some people say late October, but it won't last this forever. It'll come out of it at some point. Famous last words. So my guess is we take another stab at this area. What time frame are you looking at? This one is the 2000 tick chart of the ES, and on the left it's the 1500 tick chart of the NQ. Okay, so that is getting us up to that second leg. So, leg. With what I'm looking here, my guess is, because we've only got down here, we haven't got to the bottom, so almost always we get a break. That looked like a small break, but this is much better. So I'm looking for 2 attempts to go, and then I'm looking for some rejection up here. It has spent multiple times trying to get up. It tried there, tried a bit there. So I'm looking for some rejection here. Ideally above all this liquidity here. So there's my first move, there's my second, and that takes us right above all this. And you may even argue 1, 2, 3, triple test. You get a nice bearish bar up here. That would be 2 legs up as well. And there is a chunk of buyers. Sorry, sellers. And then I've got buyers down here, a fair amount of them, at between 60 and 62, which is below price. So we've got a channel working down here, couldn't get down to the bottom, which has given us a break, and that's kind of 2 legs back, penguin kind of style trade. And then I'm obviously looking for the move down then. We've had that move. There's still the possibility a price is going to go up, but it's looking less and less likely, in all honesty. But you just never know. I don't assume anything anymore. I know what it's looking like it's doing, but I used to get it so focused in my head I must find a long or I must find a short because that's what it's doing, and a lot of the times it just didn't. Okay, so 2 legs up. It hasn't got quite as high as I thought, well, as of yet. That could always change. Oh, excuse me. There's always a possibility of something like that in the end. Who knows? It doesn't really help you much, to be honest with you. The one thing about that is if we do get up here, it's more likely that price is going to continue down. But as I say, when it's like this, I tend to not assume anything. It is looking like 2 attempts to push up. So if it's going to fail, I'd expect it to somewhere around here, ideally above certainly that bar there, that big bearish bar there, anywhere around here. And there are some sellers, not a huge amount at 82.5. Whether it'll get that high if it does reject here, who knows. But no, that looks better on the NQ. We've pushed above liquidity. I'm just sitting tight here a minute. It's hard to say. You might jump into a short here and the thing might find its way up to the top. So that's the trouble when it does this. Sometimes it will suck you in and then use your liquidity to move up. So it's a tough one here. I know what I'm seeing, but I'm just sitting tight here. I think the only safe place to take a short is if you're going to is below that EMA, I think, here, because you never quite know where this is going to do. It does look like 2 legs. You can't really confuse that with a channel. It's a bit too shallow, isn't it? But it does look like 2 legs up. So a move down followed by a lower high, I don't think would be the worst thing in the world. I don't know what it's going to do, though. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to knock it on the head there. I've done 3 hours. I'm going to come back for an hour later after dinner. So I appreciate your company. Best of luck if you count on trading. I'll be back again tomorrow, hopefully. We'll have a better day. But I will come back for an hour late this evening and see what it's like. So I'll leave you guys to. I appreciate your company. Take care. Stay safe. And I'm back tomorrow. Bye for now.